You're not gonna let me pass, are ya? No? Alright. Hey everyone, this is Prince Watercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Tougi King Colossus! In the last episode, we got out of the Staria Castle, and now we are doing Princess Lina's bidding. First thing she wanted us to do is accompany her to this crystal cave, where she was immediately kidnapped by a dragon. Or at least a dragon's servants. So now we're going up into this room and fighting a bunch of bats in our quest to save Princess Lina. Got some bombs here. We're gonna use them to open this little passage up. And it's a good thing for you to do so, because you'll meet people. This guy in particular looks a lot like the healer from the Laird Coliseum. And if you talk to him, he will heal you. Thankfully, we won't need it just yet. Matter of fact, I don't really use them at all. Mostly because I do well here. At least up until the end. And just like the rest of these people, he wants you to defeat the dragon. Because Lina isn't the only girl that this dragon has captured, as you'll soon see. All the people here in this one room, they are attempting to fight the dragon, but they're really reluctant because they all know they're going to be wiped out. And as you keep going down, you'll meet more people. And this guy will tell you about some of the crystals that will block your path. We'll be seeing those soon enough. In order to get past those crystals, you'll need to destroy them with dragon claws. These are one-time only use items. Kind of work like keys, but they do appear in your inventory as actual items. And there are 3 in this cave, and you will have to get them all if you want to make it to the end. And there's a chest down here. Definitely want to open that up, because when you open this chest, you will get the first dragon claw. So you definitely want to open this chest as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get anywhere at all. And now that we have that dragon claw, we can finally go up here. And I'm probably going to have to use the Hawken in some parts because of these frogs. Because the frogs are actually amongst the low-lying enemies that the arrow will just shoot straight over. Sadly. Unfortunately, the bow does not work on all enemies. Now that we got all those enemies taken down, we can finally use the Dragon Claw and run into that crystal. If we touch a crystal while we have a Dragon Claw, we will automatically destroy it, and the Dragon Claw will be erased from our inventory, so to speak. We're in another room now, and those little parts of the floor that are glowing pink, those little pink glowing dots, don't step on those because those tiles will damage you. This is the first time you'll see such a hazard, and it definitely won't be the last either. You also want to go down here. Really easy to miss room. I can't believe I didn't catch it, I don't think, on the first playthrough. Yeah, I definitely missed this on the first playthrough. Inside this chest is the fighter glove, and it's an other item. And instead of accidentally going to the equipment, you accidentally press the wrong button, and then I do it right this time. Definitely want to equip the fighter glove because it will be beneficial. Our attack power will go up by 15. So you definitely want to get all the items that you can. It really helps with your attack and defense. These items, if you couldn't tell, work more wonders for your stats than any level gains will do for you. You definitely want to get the best armor that you can when you can, as well as any extra items. We saw a little blue face block the wall, not the wall, but the door there, and you have to destroy it with something like the Hawken or a non-crossbow weapon. The crossbows will not work on those things. They do shoot projectiles at you, but that's all they can do. Thankfully, the Hawken was able to work on those things. Just like it also worked on these brown frogs, another new enemy that we ran into. Also, we have 2 brown chests. The one on the left contains a medical herb, and the right one is empty. So, in case you need a medical herb or an empty chest, don't know why you need an empty chest, you can just go over there. And we need to go to the right, so we can open another gray chest, containing another important item, the second dragon claw. So now we should be able to break another crystal. So from here, we're going to have the backtrack, but if you go up in the middle of that opening there that led to the second dragon claw, you'll find another secret passage. One that I very easily missed in my first playthrough back on Labor Day. And opening this chest will give you the Aura Band. It's a step up from the power band that we got in Griev's Tower. So we want to equip that. Thankfully, I'm getting better at equipping these things. And by putting on the Aura Band, our attack power has increased by 20. So we now have, I think, 100 attack points with the Hawken equipped, which is really good, especially for this level in the game. And we're pretty much done here, so we need to backtrack to that crystal that we saw as soon as we broke the first one. Of course, the bats will respawn every time you re-enter this area, so of course we're going to have to destroy them as we make our way back. And there are those lizards again. I didn't mention them because we weren't able to fight them yet, but we can now as soon as we break this crystal. Those guys will charge at us as soon as they see us, and they are pretty fast, and they can do quite a bit of damage. So you want to be very careful. And you do want to destroy them because one of them will carry some bombs. And after we take care of them, we can go into this room, where we will see these gray spheres. Can't destroy them with a crossbow. I'm going to have to use the silver lance. That way I don't really have to work on aiming all that much. I don't have to worry about getting too close. I can just hit them from an even further distance than I could with the Hawken. If you run into these things, they will do a ton of damage. So you're better off just hitting them with a lance-like weapon, with like the silver lance like I'm doing. Sadly, they don't give any experience, but it's best to destroy them just the same. And now we have 2 more lizards and another evil face wall blocking the path. I should have just used the lance for this. Crossbow seems to have no effect, and I was losing a ton of health here. That was really, really sloppy of me. Instead I used the Hawken, which works just as well, but I risked taking more damage. Thankfully, I was nearly at 100 attack, like I had the feeling I was. I didn't know if I was at 100 with the Hawken yet. I was pretty close though. Apparently I thought I was. I wasn't. But I was still able to take that thing down, and now it's time to equip the lance again and take out some more of these gray balls. They make this really nice shattering sound when you destroy them, not gonna lie. And now we're in a very long maze-like corridor. Thankfully, this little path in particular is linear. There's some more frogs, there's some more bats. I equipped the Hawken to take care of both. I don't go into any of these rooms yet, because I want to see if I can get some health. Because one of them will have a new enemy that will prove to be a little more dangerous than the other new ones that we've met so far. Well, except maybe the lizard is probably on par with the lizard. In the meantime, I try to see if I can get some health. And see if I can pick something up along the way. And it's a good thing I did too, because that frog left some bombs, and that bat was kind enough to drop a random health power-up, which I needed. And I got another one there, which is great. And we do have to go to the end of this path anyway if we want to continue on, but of course we're going to need the third Dragon Claw. So we're going to go all the way back to the first opening that we saw on the path to that crystal. Because there's something in there that I want to use. And for this, I'm going to equip the crossbow. Because it's the most powerful weapon that I got for such a thing. Remember these things? These are the things that kidnapped Princess Lina. These things will fly at you, they'll shoot at you. And to make matters worse, you're dealing with ice physics here. Not a pretty good thing to deal with, because while you're slip sliding around, you can't attack. You have to wait until you're completely still before you can attack enemies on ice. Thankfully, I managed to pick up a shield here and take out the rest of these guys while I have it. Best advice I can give while fighting in this room: take short, small movements. That way you slip around less and you're able to attack faster because you're not slipping around as much. And for getting rid of those enemies and opening that chest, we get a ton more experience and the Crimson Armor, which gets our defense up to 100 at last. Really love the shade of red on this. Thankfully, or sadly, I should say sadly, the rest of the armors, they don't look quite as good as the Crimson Armor. And now that we're done over there, we can go over here. Let's take care of these two bats. Try not to die. I believe if you run into those tiles, you will take damage. And I got a full health power up. That's nice. Yeah, you don't want to step on those tiles because they will hurt you. And by going into this room, we get two great chests. The one on the left contains the third Dragon Claw. But the second one, oh, the second one. You're going to love what's in the second one. It's a step up from the crossbow. It's the double bow. And not only is it more powerful than the crossbow by a smidge, you shoot two arrows at once. I love it. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go over to the end of the path now that I'm done checking my map here. And use the third Dragon Claw to open this little passage up. And if you manage to time it just right, just be in the right place at the right time and have the enemies where you want them, you can use like both arrows to destroy two enemies simultaneously, like I just did earlier. So it can be a bit of a godsend. Also, I finally used the Silver Lance to take care of that face door like I wanted. And thankfully, we're not on ice while we're fighting these two guys. So now that we're here, we can finally enter this room. And we see here all of the captured girls. Something tells me that the dragon himself, or itself, isn't that far behind. And if you talk to the rest of the captured girls, or at least move into them, rather, they'll all say the same thing. And I check my armor and spells one more time. It's about as good as I'm gonna get. And by going up, we'll find Princess Lina in her little crystal prison here. If you look at it, if you look at her once, you'll figure out it's Princess Lina. And if you move away from her and move towards her again, you'll get the dragon's attention. Apparently, the dragon likes the fact that he's kidnapped the princess and doesn't want us to rescue her. And then he pops out of this wall here. The boss here is, of course, the dragon. The dragon will shoot fireballs at you. He has 3 different kinds of fireball attacks. There's the 2 that move slowly and home in on you. There's the second one, he just spits 1 and it's very fast. And the third one is a huge spread shot. Believe it or not, you can actually jump over the spread shot, and I do pretty sloppily here because I had the right idea of what to do, but I eventually had to use the aura shield to keep from taking more unnecessary damage than I already had. Aura shield works wonders against all the attacks. You can jump over the spread shot if you know what you're doing. I'm pretty sure you can jump over the homing shots, but I wouldn't really recommend it. And that's me jumping over the spread shot twice. Me finally figuring out, hey, wait a minute, I did that the first time around and it worked. And you can jump over that one if you're quick enough. As long as the dragon is on screen, he can take damage. You want to keep him on screen as much as possible, though, that when you shoot at him, you'll be able to destroy him. And thankfully I didn't have to use a medical herb. I thought I would have to, but I eventually prevailed. And after you defeat the dragon will tell you he's immortal and he will return. However, he is impressed with your performance against him. The dragon tells you of only one other person who was able to beat him, and that was the king of Luphilia, Orphis. Yep, that name again. The dragon thinks you may be able to claim the legendary sword which Orphis left behind. So that gives us something else that we need to do, assuming we can get away from Princess Lina. And he tells us to go to the sword shrine, and tells us that it may be our destiny. Same kind of line that Moot gave us, the old man from like way back in the beginning of the game. And after the dragon disappears, Lina will be freed from her crystal prison and will be actually grateful that you saved her. She then moves around, and that means you can actually move around again. When you go back to this room, all of these girls will be free as well. You'll then appear in this room, where all of these men will be reunited with the girls. Some of whom are daughters, some of whom are lovers. And it appears I'm really low on health and magic here. Well, I'm halfway down on magic, but life is really doing poorly. I did really sloppily on that dragon battle. The old man who was able to heal you, he will congratulate you, so will everyone else. And then after this, we head back to the Hysteria Castle. Thankfully, we are healed as soon as we return, so we don't have to worry about that. It's been a few days since we exited the Crystal Cave, defeated the dragon, saved all the captive girls, and we're called in to meet Princess Lina again. Lina once again gives you her heartfelt and actual gratefulness for your rescuing her. And she has an important message for you as well. She has overheard the ministers are plotting to kill us, so we have to get out of here. The thing is, however, Princess Lina doesn't want us to die. Why is that, I wonder? Anyway, she mentions what the dragon told you, and that you should go to the sword shrine. She'll tell you about the legendary sword said to have been used by Orpheus the Berserker. That's the first time we've heard of the Berserker name. Don't know why they're calling him a Berserker now, when he was a king. Was that like a nickname of his? We'll find out, eventually. For now, we need to go to the sword shrine and look for the legendary sword. So at this point, we leave the Styria Castle and we immediately go to the Shrine of the Sword, which we will tackle next time. So, this is Prince Watercress. Join me next time where we look for the legendary sword in the Sword Shrine. Until then, this is Prince Watercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!